Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Welcome to 8th Calicut MuleSoft Meetup. Today we are having a very interesting and latest topic, MuleSoft Automation, which covers RPA and Composer. I'm sure you will gain the best out of today's session. And as usual, we'll be having a quiz towards the end of the session. And thank you guys for joining. And for a change, we have a meetup on a weekday today. Usually we have it on Saturdays and Sundays. Yeah. So without any more delay, let's start. I'll read out the safe harbor statement. Both the speaker and the host are organizing this meetup in individual capacity only. We are not representing our companies here. This presentation is strictly for learning purposes only. Organizer or presenter do not hold any responsibility that same solution will work for your business requirements. This presentation is not meant for any promotional activities. As you guys know, we'll be uploading the recording of the meetup, and we have a Q&A session towards the right. Please feel free to put your questions over there. We'll be taking up the questions in between. And last, feedback is the most important thing so that we can come up with more interesting topics next time. uh, about the organizers. Myself, I'm Fathima Farzana. I'm working in NGC Labs as a MuleSoft developer. I have around 3 years of experience. And my co host for the day, John Mathew Philip, he was not able to join. He's also working in NGC Labs. We are colleagues. I guess he'll join in between, not sure. About the speaker of the day. We have Amir Khan. I'm sure most of you know him, and we have seen his work in LinkedIn blogs and all the information that he shared. And yeah. Amir, thank you so much for taking up the meetup.
No, happy to be here. Hello, everyone. So really super excited. So people who don't know me, my name is Amir Khan. I'm a client solution engineer working for MuleSoft now, more than 1 year and 4 months roundabout, and super excited to be part of this meetup and introduce you the latest and solution, of course, which MuleSoft is expanding its portfolio. So Georgie says it's not audible, but let's confirm. Everyone is able to hear me, or
Yes, Amir.
okay, okay. So
Um,
that's good. We can
yeah.
hear you. Okay. So shall I take over the slides?
Yes, Amir.
Okay,
I'll
but I
stop sharing.
okay, that's
Yeah.
perfect. So let me just quickly share and go to the right slide. So what we have prepared for today is, of course, we met before organizing this meetup, so we have prepared agenda for today. But for me, the most important thing today is my personal goal is that everyone on this call and the community, of course, understands why MuleSoft is going towards the automation portfolio, why we are expanding. We will look into the current market and need for automation to understand what is the situation, what's the status quo for automation, what it is meant to be today. And then we are going to do an introduction into the MuleSoft suite. Bear with me, the need for automation will take some time, but I want every one of you to understand why it is, what are the common problems, so you can have the best possible solution to address these pain points and really be prepared when you have discussions with your customers, with your teams, with your colleagues to set the scene right. And then we are going to also get an introduction MuleSoft Automation Suite. So what's part of it? It's already listed here. So it's MuleSoft RPA, MuleSoft Composer, and AnyPoint. So it's quite a bit of offerings what we have here. So what are the different components? How they interact with each other? How does it even fit further to in the Salesforce portfolio? So I've also prepared a slide for it. we have a Salesforce Service Cloud demo prepared where I will be taking over a role of a customer agent. And then we are going to build our first automated process. Of course, I've prepared something, but still, we will be starting doing the thing from scratch. So you can see how easy and simple it is to create a RPA automated process. And of course, we are going to target then the use cases, and questions are listed here as last. We have also the quiz at the end, but please feel free to utilize the chat, and I'm sure Fatima will be asking those questions, and I will try myself to do a lot of pauses because it's a new topic, and we will be going slowly to really understand where we are heading to. Um, so let's get started. What was the initial event? What brought this into the rolling? So first of all, MuleSoft is expanding its portfolio. 1 year ago, more than a year ago, we acquired a company called Service Trace, and they were rated by Gartner like visionary. They had the right RPA core features as innovation, was super simple to use and deploy and govern. Um, and what we did is we have evolved it over the last year into MuleSoft RPA. We have put a lot of innovation around it. We have cloudified the solution. So AnyPoint platform is running on a Cloud Hub. So we have done basically the same to MuleSoft RPA. And now we are really in a position where, when you uh, do a research on automation today, so you will find different kind of point solution, I would say, like capability solutions, which are addressing a specific need in the market. So most commonly, RPA is the one which is used in the broader market area for automation. And now with having RPA in our portfolio, we can now be positioned in a unique way in the market. So we are leader in iPaaS, so integration platform as a service, full API lifecycle management, and now visionary in the RPA, robotic process automation, Gartner. And before the call, I received few messages in LinkedIn to compare MuleSoft to other RPA vendors. As you have seen from the title, it's MuleSoft Automation. So this is the capability you can see in this slide. This is where we can go to, where the automation spectrum of MuleSoft can go to. And I think here we are really unique in the market. So there's not really a capability we could of course compare capabilities, but when you put everything into this unified solution, then there's no one to compete with. So let's get started with why we have done it. Why we have done it. So there is a big market disruption, and this market disruption, if you look into this statistic, which is showing you the Fortune 500 average company lifespan, in the last 60 years, the lifespan expectation of a company has been drastically going down. So in the 80s, it was around 37 years, then it came to even further, even further triggered by the emerging technologies, the need to evolve further, the need to transform. It is now at 19 years, and you can see the statistics or the forecast is going even further down. So we want to make sure that companies who are using MuleSoft, we can free them up, because this is something where businesses are not having enough time to innovate. They are overloaded with a lot of tasks, a lot of work, so there's no time to innovate, and this is what we want to address. Digital disruption is a reality. Yeah? So you have a lot of business requirements, a lot of technologies which are coming. Um, Mostly every month you see new technologies evolving further. So you as a company, you need to transform, you need to evolve into a technology company, and there is nothing in between. So either you are the one who's disrupting the market, or you will be disrupted. So there is nothing in between, and we want our customers to be equipped with the right technology to really free up the right resources to provide innovation and start new initiatives to disrupt the market. And automation, of course, is a topic, right? Automation is the topic which will free up your business users, um, your professionals to start new business initiatives, but still automation could not realize this promise. So far, there is unrealized return from investment in automation. A lot of companies and organizations are still struggling to provide connected experience. These are just few numbers provided by different market analysts. But it shows us that automation, the way it has been handled so far in the market, is not the right way to do automation. Business users are still hindered to start additional initiatives and innovate further because automation is not working at all with the solutions which are currently available. So, and I want to really pinpoint on this and uncover why it's not working. What's the reason? Because automation is nothing new, right? So, what's the status quo for automation? And imagine this cloud is representing a company, an organization, your organization. And if you look into this organization, you will find different business processes. And these business processes are meant to deploy your business, are meant to be there to give innovations to your customers, to your users, to your employees and partners. But these business processes also may contain different additional work, because the way these business processes are implemented with different applications, they are not seamlessly integrated. So there's a lot of repetitive work to be done to make everything work. So a lot of teams are, of course, responsible for those business processes. So we have these three teams who are owning few business processes, have the ownership, but also are using shared processes to keep the business up and running. So what happens when they want to invest now in automation? Yeah? So let's see for team one. Yeah? When you think about automation, the first perception is UI automation, because I'm a business guy. I'm the one who understands the process. I'm doing it on daily basis, right? So that's the reason why I would do it in the same way. So UI automation, automating the UI. So I grab those business processes, put an automation script on top of it, or use any kind of tools to create automated UI processes. And then I say, okay, that's done. These business processes are up and running. Team two does the same, and team three is doing the same. So they are using processes which are in their ownership, but also processes which are used cross teams. And this is super important. And as you can see, the, these teams are living in a silo world. So they are not really sharing a lot of information. And maybe outside of these teams, there might be few individuals who are technically enough to go for automation, and they are doing it just for the individual purpose to increase their productivity on their day-to-day work. So now what happens if a process change? So whenever a business process change, there is a change to the application as well. So maybe there's a need to change the name of a field which exists today, or add additional fields, or use or remove fields which were being used so far, adding buttons, list items which are required. So these changes are impacting those automated processes and will cause them to fail, because if now I had an automated process and suddenly a field which was existing is now required, but you are not filling it in, so the process cannot continue, it's blocked, so the automation will crash. But luckily, in our case, in this scenario, it's team one, because I'm the owner of this business process, so I can easily fix it, right? I can go and make sure that the automation is up and running again. So that's good. We had the change, we fixed it, automation is up and running again. So hopefully won't happen again. So suddenly now processes changes which are not part of our responsibility. It's cross team processes like order to cash, where you have different teams working in, and these are now changing. So what will happen now is the scene where you don't want to be when you're using automation, because now you have invested in UI automation. You have built those UI processes. Everything is UI, right? And you are working in isolated teams. So now everything starts to break and become red. So here you have a lot of work to do, and invest a lot in maintenance to make it work again. But why is that? And why is that? If we look now into the design of the automation and design and build, of course, there need to be, I'm talking about now again on a UI automation, and please try to visualize this. We have the process we want to automate. Of course, we can go through the different application, create our automated script, UI automation, tick on it, it's done. But I cannot run it because I've just created it. I cannot deploy it into the production. It's not possible because the production is really where my business, core business is running. I have to do test runs to make sure that the automated process which I have is stable. So I would run it a few times in tests to see if application is behaving maybe differently than in the build or design phase. So I can go back and further make the script or the automated process stable. And then I put it into production. And this is something where you are already investing some time in the design time, right? So you are investing effort and putting everything to make the promise of automation come true. And now something is not working or something has changed in your production. You have deployed these automation processes. So what will happen? Of course, we have seen it in the picture, but automation will throw an error, it will break. You will of course fix it, but again, we had it, right? So you have fixed the error. You can not just go and put it into production. You have to go through the test, invest some time to see, is it really stable? Is there anything else which has changed? So my test is not, or my process is not failing anymore. And once you have the validation, then you put it into production. So here you have again effort which you have to take to UI automation. And this is where the reality is, this is how automation is being done today with RPA vendors, just focusing on the UI. Yeah. And I want to pause now here for a second, and Fatima, maybe you can come in and see if there are any questions in the chat. Anything which is unclear, please let me know.
Um, no questions so far, Amir.
Okay. So I may continue and then I will do again a pause. So don't worry. So, and this is, the reason automation is perceived to be UI only, UI automation, it is causing a lot of effort in manual tasks and processes for different departments in the organization. There are finance who is impacted, there's service team who is impacted, employee success, you have HR, human resources who are impacting, and they are really making sure that they can somehow survive the day with repetitive work and invest some time to keep the business up and running. And then they don't have the time anymore to focus on innovation. They don't have the time to focus on the core business and initiatives. They are just involved in those repetitive tasks, which here few numbers, right? So 10 hours spent on repetitive tasks, and this is a minimum number on per week. Yeah? You have multiple apps involved, 8 here listed, but I have been talking recently to customers who were talking about 20 to 30 apps which employees are working on daily basis. And for automation, now what need to be changed? Because we have seen automation is there, yeah, but unlocking innovation is still not possible. So there is a new way to evolve automation to the next level, which is by providing a unified solution to the automation approach and a universal automation approach, which will not have you in the technical barrier of technical depth where you need to have coding experience. So low code is something which will help you here. But again, the alignment and collaboration between technical and business people need to be done right, as well as the evolving requirement. What happens if processes changes, right? So what is the approach to do? Which type of automation would you go for? Because this is something you cannot stop. You want to improve, so you will change your requirements. You will change and improve further on the customer feedback, so your UIs will change anyway. So how are going to tackle this, right? And this is where now the MuleSoft automation fundamentals comes in. And here I want to first start with, this is my personal mantra. Automation should be serving humans, not the other way around. And I want to pause again for a second and now explain it. when you are introducing automation, you are introducing because you are promising yourself, okay, I will have productivity, I will save a lot of costs, and I will become more efficient, and my organization will become more efficient. Then you start implementing automation, UI automation, RPA only automation, and you really identify very soon, okay, my business is changing, we are trying to innovate, but automation is not working. So now you try to serve the automation. You are serving the automation to keep up and running and to fulfill on the promise, which is the reason why I've initially started with automation. And this is where you can very easily see if a organization has a successful automation journey or not. And you really see how much effort they are putting in today to keep the automation up and running. So, what is the overall goal of automation? It's yes, it's cost saving. We want to save cost, we want to be more productive and efficient. But there's more to it, which is also serving automation, like resiliency. You need to be secure. You cannot deploy bots which are now overloading your system again and again, which are completely not secured and not having the right access to systems. You need to have governance around it. Sustainability, long-term thinking, future-proof is something what you need. Reusability, which is now coming from the composability, composable enterprise, being able to reuse everything you are building. It's not about just integration and APIs, but also automation assets which you are building. And speed is something which is a big benefit. Speed in design and speed in execution. We have seen designing a UI automation takes some time. So you have to really be sure what you want to automate with UI. The next thing is, once you have automated it, you have to execute it. So again, it will take some time. So if I am having a process which I manually execute in 2 hours, now UI automation is doing it 1 hour. Wow, great improvement, but still it's 1 hour, right? What happens if it fails in 30 minutes? I have to make sure if I roll back the process or continue it manually. So, and then after completing the process, I need to fix the automation. I'm serving the automation again. So here, a smart and universal approach is required. But what are we automating in the first place? Right? So we are automating different business processes. Those business processes which are highlighted to be or assessed to be super critical, but also involving a lot of manual labor. They are costing me a lot because it's not integrated, not connected, my whole environment. And now here you can see a simple business process where orders comes in via email, orders are read by someone, creating orders is done in different system. Then if it needs a shipment or not, based on the decision, it goes and create a shipment and confirm via email. And different application can be used to implement such a business process, right? So you can have Gmail as an email, you can have SAP as an order management system, SAP as a shipment delivery management system, and then you have also email again with Gmail to confirm the emails. Or you have COBOL or Salesforce also as part of it. So this is something where you have to really understand, what do I need to automate with UI and where would I need an API. But now let's put it into comparison. If we look at the sphere of automation, the broader picture of automation, what are the different types? Of course, on a very high level, you have the technical side of automation, which is perceived to be more in the API headless layer. And then you have the business side, which is more on the UI layer. Business people who are working with these business applications, they can completely relate to UI specific task because they are doing it on the day-to-day work. And developers are the ones who can really work with technical topics like APIs, event-driven architecture, XML, JSON, whatever their on technical needs are there, developers can handle it. But now imagine, because our UI automation or automation as an overall goal is needed by whom? It's not the developer who is looking for automation. Neither it's IT. They are not really interested in automation. The only people who are benefiting and interested in automation are business people. They can work with UI seamlessly. Yeah? And that's why most of the automation is today UI labeled, because these topics is too technical. They don't understand it at all. Yeah? That's why they go through UI, they do it daily basis. They can exactly tell you what to automate on screen level. But now imagine if we are able to decouple the technical representation of all these uh, protocols and represent it in a more business readable manner to business people, just in order to improve the automation process, because there is a benefit in using API first in the automation, which of course the most important thing is here, it is faster than UI automation. I've recently been doing a test where I created a customer in SAP with UI automation, and then I did the same with uh, API. Yeah, so the UI automation took me round about, including login, log out from SAP, as well as creating the customer. It took around 5 minutes, and with API, it was just 20 seconds. Right, so it's really something which is so fast than UI automation. And I've just done a very small process. The larger the process on the UI, the faster it is with APIs. Of course, it's appealing more to the, it's a technical topic, right? So it's appealing more to developers. But the next big thing, if you want to become an automation company, if you want to become a technology company, look, APIs are the one who are earlier available in the lifecycle. We have been doing APIs for a long time. So the first thing which is being mocked is not UI, it's APIs. And the first thing which is being deployed is APIs. And then later in the lifecycle, you'll find, of course, UIs. Technical skills, complex in nature. We understand this. I think this is something which need to be solved, of course. But examples, API-led, API first, API testing is there for API automation. On the other side, you have easier to automate. Of course, it's something you see on daily basis. You know what to do on ServiceNow, in Salesforce, in SAP. As a business user, you know exactly what to do. But there are real facts which you should question, why you should go with UI. Always question this, because UIs are also something which is changing frequently. If you have developed an API and this API is providing different attributes, like let's say username, password, and profile information, description, and something else, and now you have represented it exactly in the same way in a UI, username, profile information, password, description. Now business wants the username to be changed in login name, right? It won't change on a API because it's technical. It's already built, it's there, everything is fine, but you will change it on the UI. And this is where your automation then will fail. And I think there might be now questions before I continue.
There is a question from Abhinav Shukla.
Mhm.
Is MuleSoft RPA automation only used in UI applications, or we can use for any API automation?
There are so many background noises, Fatima. I'm not really able to understand. Can you repeat
Uh,
the question, please?
yeah, a question from Abhinav Shukla. Is MuleSoft RPA automation only used in UI applications, or we can use for any API automation?
That's exactly where we are coming to very soon, Abhinav. So if you bear with me for a minute, I'm just creating the whole scene for fundamentals of automation. We will be addressing this, yeah? Because MuleSoft RPA, you're right, is addressing UI automation, of course. But this is the next slide where we are going to talk about it, when to use what. Because the MuleSoft automation solution is not only RPA, and this is where I will be just entering. Any additional question, Fatima?
No questions.
Okay, so let's continue. You may ask, okay, Ami, we understood API benefits, UI benefits, but now when to use what, right? So first of all, try to do it like for all modern application. Try to use APIs. They are there. They have been built upon APIs. Yeah, so it's a API first world. So all modern application which will tend to change on the UI are built upon APIs, and those are most probably documented well and available. If there is an understanding how to use APIs, go with API automation. For complex system like SAP, NetSuite, headless is better than going through UI, because you will invest a lot of effort in creating and designing UI processes, uh, because you have to log in, understand where is the navigation in the menu, click, 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 enter, 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 and then at some point you click on save, and then you continue, right? While as with APIs, it's just click and connect, you are there. For databases like SQL, no SQL database, you don't want to, open Toad client and now start firing SQL with UI. Makes no sense. So here, API is the better option. FTP, SFTP, everything which you can just connect headless, simple, easy to use. But of course, there are use cases for UI automation. And this is actually exactly the area where MuleSoft was not able to access so far, for unstructured data types, right? So you can access for PDF images, files, and so on. It's super easy to go with UI. API is super complex to do it. Legacy systems without APIs. If you don't have APIs, what is the option? So far, we were not able to unlock these systems. But now, with the capability of RPA, we are able to unlock systems and just put a API bot or automated process upon the system to get the data. Legacy system, client server app where you don't know how to interface with, or even applications which are providing APIs but super difficult to use, you don't want to go that path, then UI automation is basically the key. Basically, UI automation is super simple because you understand the process. And with MuleSoft RPA, you can automate any UI. But question yourself, what is the better option for me? Because MuleSoft is not providing you just with MuleSoft RPA. The solution is much more, and we are coming to that. Just few examples on the same business process, just we have now used here different applications. So how would you automate those, right? So we have different activities here. Email is coming in. Yeah? So I would go for email with API. PDF, like, it requires API UI, you could do it. Yeah? So I think UI is the better option because we are providing here OCR capabilities. COBOL, super difficult with API, so I would go for UI. SAP, yeah, we have SAP connectors as part of AnyPoint. So I'm not talking about, what is the addition and what, it's just the capability. So with API, it's super fast. Same for emails, yeah. And when you look now into the process, maybe this has been initially automated through the UI completely, and it was failing and taking a lot of time maybe in execution. Now you are reducing to the minimum of time in execution, which is really something where you now start saving money and you are doing it differently. Second example, same process but different apps which are being used. Lotus Notes, the favorite of all times. This was my first email program and I loved it at that time. But today, if I would open it, I would have a hard life going through it. But again, this is something where you cannot interface with. It's super difficult. OCR, UI would need, or API if possible. For HTTP or Salesforce, it's API. SAP is API, and again, the mail is UI. This will change a lot of things where you were initially only using UI automation for. And the last example is my favorite because you can see here how you would do it. It's completely API based, right? But API is a technical topic. So how can we achieve this? How can we make the technical translation and make it happen for the users? And this is which brings me to MuleSoft Automation. That's what I said in the beginning. MuleSoft Automation is providing you with capabilities. You cannot compare it with different RPA solutions in the market. As you have seen in the beginning, MuleSoft Automation is giving you integration platform as a service, API capabilities, connectivity capabilities, as well as UI automation capabilities. So it is providing you all the capabilities to address the right use cases for the right team in order to get the maximum benefit out for any team. So it's providing a unified solution approach, which helps you to move faster with fewer resources. It's also something you are not thinking about to serve the automation. Automation is now serving you, but you have to really inhale and understand how to do it. Improve how workflows for everyone, so everyone can collaborate in this 360 experience. and power automations together. It's a team sport. We understand this. It's not just a business sport. It's a team sport with the way MuleSoft has been living over the years with bringing composability to the enterprise, being able to discover the capabilities an organization have and provide reuse for the rest of the organization is what makes here the difference to be successful in automation in really concrete facts. So what does it mean on capability side? UI automation with a very powerful technologies rated as um, innovators and visionary by Gartner and other analysts, which helps you to automate basically any process, any team, any UI, any document or image, you can automate it. But you have to really understand where to use it. It's a capability. Collaborate on a secure and trusted platform. So it's a really enterprise RPA platform, which allows you to do the end-to-end lifecycle management on UI automation and help you to scale it end-to-end within the platform with the integration to other capabilities like Anypoint or Composer or even the Salesforce 360 experience. The second capabilities we have is MuleSoft Composer. The easiest way to connect to any app for someone who is not technical is Composer. Composer is our most powerful abstraction and connectivity app which is there in the market. It helps business users to easily connect to any business application, of course, providing pre-built connectors. And if these connectors are not enough, you can still connect to APIs you have built with any point platform or even to RPA processes which you have automated with MuleSoft RPA. So it's very powerful and helps users to understand and automate the flow and empower everyone to do automation. And last but not least, any point platform is there to unlock the true promise on automation. If Composer and RPA may not be able to address a certain topic, Anypoint provides a lot of pre-built connectors which you can just use to unlock existing system, unlock APIs and data to make the automation be built in a very free environment and ensure resiliency. This is what it's about. You don't need to serve the automation. Automation need to serve the humans, and this is what we want to achieve with the MuleSoft Automation unified solution approach. So now, before I jump into the different components, again, Fatima, are there any questions?
There is one question from Praveen Kumar.
Mhm.
Composer is free trial or licensed?
The question is if Composer is free trial or licensed. Is that the question?
Yes. Yes, Amir.
So Composer is part of the automation package, which is I don't have any numbers in mind. I'm the technical guy, so it is packaged. The MuleSoft automation solution is packaged with three components. One is MuleSoft RPA, second one is MuleSoft Composer, and as you have seen, the third one is Anypoint, a limited edition to serve the automation need. Yeah? So it's part of the package. So it's, of course, I think it's licensed. Yes.
Okay. And we have one question from Zeno. What is the advantage of RPA and Composer for developers?
Okay, that's a very good question. So the MuleSoft automation package is not only built upon Composer and RPA. Of course, you can use the RPA environment and work really on pre-built templates, which we are providing to tackle any kind of UI activities. You can read text from PDF documents, which you have not been able to do in the past because it is not so easy to do it, and you would have a very difficult life to build something where you are reading text from images or PDFs. So here we are providing really intelligence mechanisms which helps you to extract data and unlock systems which are not providing any APIs. So here you could have the benefit of building bot APIs, automated process APIs, which can unlock those data. So you as a developer can benefit and consume this data and build your own solutions upon this.
Thank you. Um, Oh, we have one more question from Ravi. I'm new to MuleSoft automation capability. I want to know whether it will be a new plugin tool or something else, or it's managed to MuleSoft reusable APIs.
It's very similar approach what we were using so far, and this is actually now this part, different components of MuleSoft automation. So now we will uncover what it contains and then really go into the architecture discussion, how it is interacting with each other. Because I was talking about capabilities, UI automation, API automation, connectivity. So how are these capability being used? Okay. So shall I continue?
Yes, Amir.
Okay. So let's take a look on the components which are provided, the different components for MuleSoft automation. So let's imagine this is your architecture. It's a very high level architecture which consists of system and apps. And of course, you have the interfaces for UI and APIs available. You being a MuleSoft AnyPoint user today. So maybe you have built already reusable APIs, because this is what we have been doing all the time, providing pre-built connectors, being able to compose APIs, compose capabilities in your organization to unlock data systems and integration and provide them as assets and be able to discover from the organization. So maybe you have this already. So what now is happening, this is something which is anyway part of the MuleSoft automation package. So you understand this is what you have, but now you have additional capabilities which we were not able to address before. Because if systems existed in our infrastructure which had no APIs, it was very difficult for us to unlock those. Now we are providing MuleSoft RPA, which can unlock these systems upon UI automation, which can process unstructured data, data which is in scanned documents, in PDF formats, in any kind of unstructured document, images, and so on. You can now extract those and build again reusable APIs for those automated process and publish them in Exchange. Yeah, so your UI automation is now also published as assets available for everyone in Exchange. And now you are doing the masterwork where you come in and provide Composer to the business. And business can now use Composer with the pre-built connectors to connect their business apps, yeah, like Workday, Salesforce, Jira, NetSuite. They can simply connect, and it's really decoupling the technical layer, which is here, the technical topics, because a business user is not able to understand what the API of NetSuite is talking. But this is the magic what Composer is doing. It's decoupling the technical and abstracting it into a business readable layer, so business is able to understand and select exactly what they want to automate upon. Now imagine if there are Composer connectors or not available at all to systems which you are using. So you have already AnyPoint in place. With AnyPoint, you have most probably unlocked those systems. If not, you can use the out of the box connectors to unlock these systems and then provide these APIs as shareable APIs in Composer, so business can reuse it. And they can reuse it in the same manner, like decoupling the technical aspects and present it in a business readable way. Again, if there's next system where also the APIs with AnyPoint cannot connect, like a system which is not providing APIs at all, what would you do? You would automate it. You would automate it with UI automation, provide it as an API, and then consume it in Composer to automate from the business point of view. So the automation, the technical team, the IT team is providing reusable assets to enable the business to do their automation work. So how does it represent in a technical architecture? Everyone is familiar with Anypoint platform. I'm just using the components which are relevant for automation here. Anypoint platform is super powerful, but I've really drilled down it to the core for automation. So what are we using? We have in Anypoint platform the Mule application, the studio part, the design part where you build your Mule flows. Then you have the Anypoint platform. Once you have built those Mule flow, you can publish them in Exchange and deploy it in a Mule runtime. This can be running anywhere. So it's a very, on a very high level, but this is what you have today. So how does it technically fit into the picture having RPA, also providing additional components, a design part, which is including recorder and a builder, and we will see the builder later on. And you can automate basically any kind of application there. You know, this is completely free and up to you what you want to automate. Very similar to the Mule runtime, you have the bot farms where you are running the RPA bots. And then you have the manager, very similar to the control plane of AnyPoint, where you have the governance part for the automation. And now what you are doing, you have also Composer as part of the picture, which is consisting for the Composer flow for design. It has not really deployment because it's running completely in the cloud and isolated. So it has an embedded deployment. So what you do is you have RPA. You are building RPA with RPA Builder and then saving it into the RPA manager. From there, you deploy it into the bot farm and assign exactly the bots which should be automating and running these processes which you have built here. And these bots are going to run these processes either on design time, or you are also able to trigger them. You can trigger them either from Composer directly, and Composer will deploy it into the embedded runtime and do a connector. Also, we are providing this RPA connector here in Composer via HTTP, and they will then start running the bots here. Additionally, and this makes it super powerful, you can publish any automated process as an API, which you will also be using here in the design time as well as in the portal. So it makes the automated process which you have built available as an API, so you can provide all the existing capabilities you have in AnyPoint, like security and governance and so on, upon these APIs, and use them even further in the Mule flows. The moment you use them in the Mule flows, you can deploy it in the Mule runtime, and the Mule runtime will be calling those bots directly via RPA manager, and those will be triggers in the RPA bot farm and run and respond back to the flow. Alternatively, or additionally, you can also call Mule APIs via HTTP directly from Composer or even from the RPA automated process. And this makes the interconnection possible and allows you to use the capability which is right for the current need to automate your processes. Again, I want to pause here again for a second because I think this is something which is technical, and there might be questions for it.
There is one question from Jaya. Is MuleSoft RPA automation connected to business application through Composer?
Mhm. Yes. If you mean with business application like Salesforce or ServiceNow, Workday, yes. So you can say, I just connect to Workday, get the data out of it, and then I have a very old legacy HR system where I want to process adding a new employee, for instance, which has been added here in Workday with Composer. So you will call the bot, and the bot will do it then here in the very old legacy environment and insert the data which has been processed by Workday.
Yeah. I hope it clears your doubt, Jaya. Yeah. Thanks, Amir.
You're welcome. Okay. Even further, now you have been hearing, I'm pretty sure everyone has been hearing about hyper automation. Hyper automation is something which has been, I saw it at least from one of the Gartner reports, and it has been appearing more and more like a hype in the last 2 years, and now it is becoming more and more, shaping itself and reality. If I look back now 7, 8 years ago, it was RPA, right? So RPA was the promise made there, but now the market has tried it out, and RPA only, or the legacy RPA, is not working. So there is this universal approach required. And now with hyper automation, it is even going further, where hyper automation is saying that every organization has different capabilities. Imagine I'm a API developer. Yeah, I can provide with MuleSoft any kind of APIs. Fatima is super good in RPA automation. She can really unlock data from using RPA. Then we have maybe Ravi, who can really easily program chatbots, or um, any kind of Salesforce no code UIs. Yeah? So these are different capabilities which organization is owning. So hyper automation is about bringing all these capabilities together to reach one goal, which is hyper automation, and make the automation journey successful for any organization. And this is what has been now uh, been started. And Salesforce and MuleSoft, so MuleSoft automation as part of the Salesforce system, is even more powerful. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Salesforce, but Salesforce is providing also an automation framework, which is called Salesforce Flow. It provides you with builder, no code capabilities, orchestrative capabilities. You can run even these orchestrated flows from Slack and build flow actions, but it's part of the Salesforce platform. Within Salesforce you can do everything. You can call maybe APIs, but now where it is getting further interesting is with flow integration, which is representative here for MuleSoft Composer, and flow RPA, which is representative for MuleSoft RPA. They are now bringing and unlocking limitations which were existing in the Salesforce flow portfolio, and going even beyond what was possible as part of the Salesforce ecosystem, and now addressing external system, unlocking data in unstructured documents or legacy systems, or even external systems like ServiceNow or any other system business application. So this makes it even more powerful, embedded with with the core capabilities of Salesforce low code environment, chatbots with Einstein bots, artificial intelligence, Einstein intelligence you have here. So it's making the promise becoming a reality for hyper automation. And if you look it from the Salesforce point of view, um, the automation solution cannot be compared with anything in the market. So it's really unique. And this is what we are going to see very soon now in a demo, how it's integrating into Salesforce. Yeah? But first of all, how does it really technically does it? So everyone who's familiar with Salesforce, they know we are providing a Salesforce flow builder, and you are building the automation suite here, as we have explained in the previous slide, and you are publishing basically everything in Anypoint Exchange. And this is the single source of truth, especially when we are integrating with Flow Builder using external services. You can make all the APIs as well as the automated process APIs available in the Flow Builder toolbox, and then reuse it in the flow orchestration and trigger bots on based on different conditions. So now imagine you are having a cloud application addressing sales, CRM, service, marketing, commerce, so different departments, different teams, and there are bots which are available for the users to get assistance from. They are automating repetitive work for them to make and increase their productivity and efficiency, which is then really unlocking the promise on automation. Any questions on this before we jump into the first demo?
No questions, Amir.
Okay, so let's take a look on the first demo use case. And this is actually a use case. Imagine, and we are working here with a fictional organization called Northern Trail Outfitters. I'm pretty sure you have seen it. This company has been named before as well. So Northern Trail Outfitters is a retail company, and they provide a web shop where you can purchase online outdoor products, sport articles, merchandise, everything which you need to go on a activity, on a sport activity. And actually Rachel is one of the loyal customers. So Rachel has been having a great experience interacting with their online shop, ordering products and getting really a great quality. Everything was on time, and she is super happy with the service. And now next week on Monday she is planning to go on hiking vacation with her friends for 2 weeks, and she has ordered hiking shoes in the morning today. And now she forgot to enter the right delivery date. So she has entered 7th of October, which is next week, Friday. But she wanted to enter tomorrow, which is Friday, the 30th of September. So now she will be calling the service center at NTO, Northern Trail Outfitters. And on the other side, she will be assisted by Michael. And Michael is a super passionate customer service agent working at Northern Trail Outfitters. And he is so passionate about he want to make every customer having a great experience with the company. And whenever there are claims coming in, requests coming in, cases coming in, he wants to solve them as fast as possible. But unfortunately, currently, Michael has a super difficult workflow on a daily basis. So he is a service agent. So most probably, first of all, he loves to work in Salesforce Service Cloud because this is the cockpit where he sees everything. What are his cases? What is his resolution time? How many cases he has been solving? Because as a service agent, he's paid on the number of cases. So he want to be really productive and really help customers, but also have a great speed in closing those cases. So whenever a case comes in via omni-channel, he checks upon the case. He gets maybe advices from the next best action, Einstein intelligence, to get action done. And then sometimes he has to put the customer on hold. And everyone knows it, right? So I was calling recently a bank in Germany, which put me on hold, and I was listening to music and waiting 10 minutes, really 10 minutes for the service agent to come back, and it was not a good experience, but yeah, I made it. Yeah. And in the same manner, Rachel has to be wait now while she's listening to music. Michael has to do some heavy lifting. He has to log in into a legacy application which has no API, so it has no interface you can integrate with. And then he has to log into this application, open the customer portfolio, find the order, update the delivery date. And once he has saved all this, that's not it, because NTO is also using NetSuite as an order management system. So he has to log in into NetSuite, do the same basically what he has done in the order management system, the legacy application, update the NetSuite environment, because there are business analysts who are only working in NetSuite. So he is doing this, and once he comes back after 10 to 15 minutes, he can confirm basically, Rachel, everything is done. You will get your shoes before you go into vacation tomorrow, and then close the case. And sometimes it happens that the customers just drop, they don't wait. And that's also not a good experience, because while he was doing the heavy lifting, Rachel was just idling and listening to music. It's not a great experience, but also for the employee, Michael, it's not a good experience to do this heavy lifting. Yeah, and he has to make sure that he can close the case as fast as possible. So also here, human error can happen. He can enter the wrong data, which is also super critical. And now NTO has realized this. This is a pain point they want to address, and they have recently implemented now MuleSoft Automation. MuleSoft Automation has providing them different capabilities to automate legacy applications which are not providing any APIs, but applications which are providing APIs, simply connecting them with Composer and bringing the things together. So now Michael, who is a service agent, he can stay in Salesforce Service Cloud, and where in the past he has to do the heavy lifting and put the customer on hold, Rachel on hold, he can now continue the conversation and the bot will be triggered. While the bot will be doing the heavy lifting, like connecting to the legacy app without API, but doing it from the UI and updating the request of Rachel. And this bot is being monitored by Composer. So upon successful execution, a, a Composer flow is then triggered, which will then update the NetSuite environment and report back on the case where maybe Rachel is still on the phone talking to Michael, and close the case. So while the bot is running, he can now talk to Rachel as a customer, ask her for additional assistance, anything she is worried about, or offer her additional discounts and products so they can do upselling. So there's a lot of potential which is now being addressed, and this is what we are going to see now in a live demo. And before I jump into the live demo, just a technical implementation, how this comprehensive demo has been built. So we are using the 3 environments. Is there any question, Fatima?
Yes. So there is
Yes.
a question from Ritesh. When business would use Composer instead of Salesforce Form Builder, is the use case same for both the function? And
So,
Jaya has answered. Uh, the Composer is for citizen developers from MuleSoft side, and Salesforce Flow is also for citizen developer from Salesforce side. So, is
so
that
what? Yeah,
correct?
that's completely true. So, of course, you could do different capabilities with Salesforce, but with Composer, we are coming in with pre-built connectors, which make it super easy to connect to different systems. So you are just using the screen flow or Salesforce flow. You are calling the bot first of all, which is then triggered in MuleSoft RPA, and this bot is being watched by Composer. Upon finish, it will trigger the update in NetSuite super fast and come back in Salesforce to update the case. Of course, technically, you would be able to somehow sort it out and do it with Salesforce Flow, but Composer is the easiest way to do it and the fastest way to achieve this. And Composer is also providing additional connectors, which in my information is not available for Salesforce Flow. Does it answer your question, Ritesh?
Yes.
Okay. So shall we look into the demo and see how this has been now changed the life of Michael?
Yeah.
So let's go into the live demo. And please confirm if you see my screen, because now I'm out of the presentation.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, so basically this is actually what I showed you in my slide deck. This is a composer flow, right? And I will not comment upon this further. I will just start the test part because it's my personal environment. I have to shut it down at some point. So that's why I've prepared this already. And what I will show you now, first of all, is the NetSuite order. You can see it's the order from Rachel Smith in the memo, which is empty. We will be, for demo use case, we will be filling something in. But more importantly, it's the hiking shoes from NTO, but the date is not end of, next Friday, which is 7th of October. And Rachel will be leaving on 3rd of October for vacation. So she would probably need it with the express delivery tomorrow. So what I will be doing now is I will be switching into the role of Michael. And this is Salesforce Service Cloud. This is my cockpit. I can see here exactly what are the cases I'm working on, how many cases I've closed, what was my resolution time, SLA compliance, and response time as well. So not now what I will do is when I come in the morning, I start here my work. After having a coffee, I can set myself online to see are there any cases which I can work on. So I can set my status available. And the moment I do it, you will see now maybe you hear the ringtone. So it's Rachel who is knocking on my door, and I can say, okay, this is a request on changing the delivery date. So let's accept it. And now I've accepted the case. So now the magic will happen. This is still Salesforce Core 360 capability. It will put all the customer information in the right context for me as a service agent to read. And now I'm seeing here the contact details, the case details, as well as the description. And while I'm reading here what need to be changed, you can see already on the right hand side next best action. So Salesforce Einstein Intelligence has already analyzed this case and is providing me here a suggestion, a recommendation, which I can accept or reject. So it's telling me to offer Rachel a cost-free update for the delivery by offering her a loyalty package. I think this sounds very promising. So let's accept it as a service agent. And now Rachel is with me on the phone, so I can ask her. Yeah, first of all, thank you for being a loyal customer and having and confirming the great experience with us. And we want to keep this up and running with you. And that's why we want to offer you this special loyalty package, which includes a cost-free delivery update. Is this something you're interested in? Of course, she would say yes, because this is something she was looking the whole time for. She want to get the shoes earlier. So now I can ask her, what is the date you would like to get? So it's Friday, she said, because on 3rd I'm already gone. So I say, okay, so the date is available. I will click on next. And now what will happen, this is just the information for Michael. because now it's telling me that the bot will be triggered the moment I click on next. So now the bot is triggered in a secured environment, and it is opening the legacy app and updating the order while it has already commented on the case. So first of all, what I see here, if I refresh, there's a new comment: MuleSoft RPA bot is triggered. It will resolve the case once finished updating legacy order management system and NetSuite. So now the bot is running in this legacy app and updating it, and while Composer is watching, right? So bot is executed and completed. Now you can see Composer is processing something, and this process has been successful. This means for me in NetSuite, I should see here where the memo is empty and the date is 7th of October. If I would refresh this page, it should show me here something in the memo, like a text we have added now with RPA, the bot execution, as well as here in the shipping, you will see 30th of September. So this was done by Composer. Composer has done it on completion, and now an update happened in Salesforce, which is on the case itself. So first of all, I see here MuleSoft RPA has commented, the order management system has been updated, as well as NetSuite. So we are closing this case now with a timestamp, and you can see working status has been closed. It's still in working, but if I refresh the page, it should most probably switch to closed. And that's basically which is now providing a great experience for the employee Michael, but also who was with me on the phone the whole time. But you may wonder now, okay, Amir, we understood you have used Salesforce Service Cloud to get the recommendation and trigger this bot, which at some stage then NetSuite was updated through Composer and the case was closed. But where was that bot running? So first of all, we don't want the bot to run on Michael's machine because it will hinder him doing his work, right? So we don't want him to be interrupted. That's why the bot ran on a secured environment on the bot file. But in order to give you an impression how the bot ran, this is the builder, and we will see in the next demo how powerful this builder is. But this is the complete order update process where we are opening the application, updating the order, and closing the application. And I will just trigger it without any comments, and you will see how UI automation works. So it will really open that app. It will really look for the customer ID and find the order with the delivery date. And it will really change the promised by date field into 30th of September. And this is what is UI automation. You know, it's not just like that. It is going there and unlocking the data for you, which is super powerful, especially for legacy application and systems which are not providing any kind of APIs. And this has helped Michael to improve his productivity. Now Michael is able to solve more cases, improve his resolution time and response time as well. And because he's a service agent, right? So he is paid on the number of closed cases, successfully closed cases, which is now super beneficial for him, but also for the customer. It's a connected experience. She is not put on hold. She is not idling and listening to music. She is directly served by the service agent and got all her questions answered and request fulfilled. So that was the first demo, which of course, now, you know, this was the end result we had, but it included the UI automation part where we have taken RPA with the right capability to unlock a legacy system. And then we continued with the connectivity of Composer to headless change. So through APIs, change NetSuite and just finish the process. It was fast from the point of view, even the legacy app is now integrated. NetSuite was just headless, and then everything was automated in Salesforce. Again, I want to pause for a second here. Fatima, up to you.
There is a question from Mayuresh.
And Navesh.
Does boat need an extra vCore?
Oh, very good question. This is a very good question. So the MuleSoft automation package is providing you a predefined set of credits. You know, while what you know from AnyPoint platform, which is consuming cores, it's here different. So we are consuming bot minutes, which are credits for you, or composer task, part of it, right? So the bot is not consuming any vCore. it is running and consuming minutes, and these minutes are counted against the credit which you have in your package. Hope that answers the question. Okay,
Yeah. Thank you, Amir.
welcome. So now, even further, the exciting part. Is there any other question, Fatima?
There is one question from Ravi.
Yeah,
How did the automation work? How does it call another application?
that's what we are going to see now. So the automation. So on the UI level, this is the next demo where we are going to build your first. It's not bot, but it's an automated process, because a bot in our MuleSoft world is a configuration, a runtime, which is then executed what you have automated, which is of course a process, right? So here I've just written a bot because in the market, a bot is the thing which is running, but a bot is just the program which is executing the process you have automated. So we will be automating our process here, and we have a fun scenario, I would say. Meet Harald. So Harald is known in the internet. I think he is the meme superstar. But Harald is, beside being a meme superstar, is also a super experienced IT system engineer and one of the last COBOL developers in the market. And Northern Trail Outfitters is having a lot of COBOL applications. So he is very special to them because he has know-how which and no other engineer has. But he doesn't like Jira. That's his, his way how he works. He has his favorite legacy task management app available, but this app cannot be integrated at all via APIs because there are no APIs available. And now NTO wants to do him a favor and automate the process for Harold. So currently it's like Harold is receiving on every day the a text file which is containing the task he has to do. So he manually starts copying these tasks into this task app, which takes up to 1 to 2 hours every day, which is up to 10 hours on weekly basis. And this is where he can be more productive, of course. So NTO has decided to introduce automation. They have already been experiencing the great result from the customer service agent Michael. So now they want to apply it on Harold. So it's a funny use case. Just the technicality which I want to show, which is about what is Harold doing. Harold is receiving a text file. Yeah. So this text file is read by him. Yeah? So we need to understand from the technical point of view, and this is really the core of UI automation. How do you automate it? We receive a text file which contains a different number of lines. So we will read the lines. We will count the lines, and then we will read data line by line, open the task app, create new task, enter the line we have read per task, save the task, and do it again. And once all tasks are created, we will close the app. So basically what we will be doing is count lines, open task app, do a loop, then read the text file line by line, create a new task, enter the line you have read with the data, enter save button, and then repeat until there is no line available. Then we will close the task app. And this can be mapped basically. First of all, we have to identify what are the activities we are performing which are only executed once. So I will just need to count the line one. I will just need to open the task app once. And at the end, I need to close it, of course. But there are in between repetitive work we have to identify. And this is where Harald is getting line by line and copying the data into the task app. And this is actually the same way we have to do it. And it's always recommended before you go into automation, especially in UI automation, do it manually first. So you see how the application is behaving. And this is super important. So let's see how this is done. And now I'm going into the task app. I will minimize my Salesforce Service Cloud. And here I've just prepared already a demo process, but don't worry, it's empty. So we are going to design it together. So you can see here it's completely empty. So first of all, this is the MuleSoft RPA designer. What you see here is basically on the very left-hand side, a toolbox where I can load pre-built templates to automate my UI. And there are different categories, right? So you have your app automation, desktop app automation. You can check upon processes, do image search really based on image capturing and then identifying the image of different technologies, search patterns. You have a control like entering strings, keystroke, mouse action, or even starting a program. Just sleep for a second or more. Document processing, Excel operations. So there are a lot of categories which you can explore once you get started with RPA. But also in the toolbox, you can, for instance, type something like, let's type read, right? So read. When I type read, I have different categories for app automation, Excel automation, file operation, mail operation, variable handling. So I can now select, okay, what is available? And most probably the thing what I'm looking for is available here. So this is basically what we will be using then to automate the app. In the middle top layer, you will see something like a business process notation, which is including just one activity. And this activity with double click, I've opened, it's completely empty. So this is the high level representation on the top. And behind each of these boxes, I can have multiple boxes here. I can put these templates just via drag and drop and build my automation upon it. So this is the way it is working. Now we want to automate something. What is that something? So let's take a look. I have here the my task, the shorter version. So it has only 6 tasks. But what you see is this file is being sent every morning to Harold. So Harold reads line by line. First of all, this is the title. It is separated by semicolon, and then you have the description. These are the tasks he has to implement. What is the task app? The task app is a desktop app which does not provide any APIs, but this is the one which Harold is using. So what he's doing is basically he's coming in every morning. It's a small version of the text file, but still I can show you. He opens the task app, create on task. This window appears, so you can do it here. And then you say, okay, I want to enter this as well. And then I create the task. Task is created. This is good. Let me delete it and close the app. So I have executed manually. I understand now, okay, it can be achieved. I have my manual experience with it. So now let's automate it. First of all, I need to open the text file and count the lines. So first of all, here I need to read something from the text file. I can just drag and drop it into the activity flow under transactions. And now I can double click it and always provide a name. This is super important because it makes it more readable for you as a RPA engineer. So count lines. That's it, what I want to name here. And now it's asking me for a directory. Where is the text file, right? So I can now go to the area where the text file is. Sorry. So it should be under files, and under files, I should have something called my task. And here I would have then my task text file. And what I want to do, I want to count the lines. And here, I had the experience. I know that the entire file will give me the total number of lines. So I will say, that's it, entire file. But now you may ask, Amir, where are the lines? Where are the lines? So what I can do is now, let's write a log. A log is very similar to the output you do in AnyPoint Studio, where you insert the logger and just see if something is logged in the logger. Very similar, I can say write log and just put here afterwards and say this is count lines for me, count lines in a log. Now he's asking, what should I write? Yeah, I could write here a static text, or I can say take something from previous activity. And then I click this configuration button. It will open up and I can select from the previous activity, which is count lines. I open it and it says there are different things available, like read the whole text or just the line count. So I will go for the line count. And now he's asking me, how should it be represented? I want to capture it because we have a lot of information in the log. I will just put it as warning, so it's visible very easily for me. And let me hit the start button or run button. And now it just finished. It's telling me, okay, warning, but that's okay because I set the log to warning. And where is it? If you see, these are all the logs, it has executed different things, activities, and so on. And here you see the count lines in a log message is 6. So this is already working, right? So the thing which I've added to read the lines is providing me the right output. So I can say this is good. Let's disable it and further continue. The next step, what I need to do, and I will switch back here to our screen because we had counter lines. So let's open the task app. Yeah, so for opening the task app, I need to run program. So this is something that I can run basically any program from. I double click it and say open task app. Again, this is super important. Naming makes the readability of the automation script more consistent. And now you can provide a path. So I can enter here the path, sorry. So I could get it from here. Properties of the task app, copy the path here directly, and it's there. And I don't want it to run in the automation directory working here. I want them to run in the task app here. So later on Harold is able to see it. And now I can just test it, right? So this is also something where you can test and see, will this work? Let's see. Yes, it is opening up the task app. This is good. So I can close, it's working. So press OK. Now this is good. Next step would be to go into a loop, because in the loop now I will do line by line reading. So if I would write here a loop, again, you see different categories are offered with different templates, like break loop, file control loop, which I could potentially use, or the standard loop, which I will actually use. And I will insert it in and say this is reading lines in a loop, which is my description of this box. And now it's asking me, how many times should I run? So this need to be dependent on the number of lines. So I can either say 6, but then this is something which is fixed. I don't want fixed values here. I want it parameterized based on the number of real lines. So I can say, take it from the previous template you have inserted and start with the number 1, increment, counting always line by line, one by one. So this is set, this is fine. And now I have to read it, right? So I need to read the lines. You say, okay, Amir, you have already read here something, but I just counted it. So I need to now say again, read, and I can reuse the thing what I have already here as a template. And this time I'm using it for a different context. This time I'm reading line by line. Again, need to provide the path. I should have copied it, but no worries, it's not far away. So here we can see my task, and then it's the my task text. And now instead of reading the entire file, I will say read single line. Again, he's asking me for a number. What can I type in? Either constant number or a dynamic one, which is based on the loop. So the loop is having iteration. So I'm saying, okay, let's take its current iteration. So I'm able to really control the loop upon the text file. So this is done. He's counting line by line. And now what I need to do, if we open again the text file, let me just close it here and open the text file. You see the text file, if I read the whole line, it contains basically the title up to the semicolon and the description. So there are two information which I need to split first of all, right? So this is something which I need to do. First of all, I need to create here an array. So let's say I want to convert the string into an array. And now in the array, I say split string. And what is the input string? Of course, he's asking me, what should I split? You should split the line you have read. So the line by line read, which is this one, read text. And what is the separation character? It's semicolon. Is it semicolon? Yeah, it's semicolon. I've entered it. And now I need to read from the array what is part of it, right? So I say read from array, put it here, double click, and say the first thing is title. Again, I have the array, the full array. I want to read the first part of the array, which is representing the title. I can copy it with Control C, Control V, and put it into a context, which is now description. And here I can say now read the second part of the split of the array, which is 2. So I have the description now. So this is something which I've now prepared. And now I need to automate it into the app. So first of all, as this is a desktop app and not a web app, I would need an app automation. Means an app session I need to drop here, because in an app session now I can design the desktop automation process, which either I would do from the designer like we were doing the whole time, or you have also here the start quick creation mode, which I can run now. And it is asking me what you want to do. I can say here, I would like to insert something in the app session, and I will start the task app, put it in the right context so it's not blocking me here. I'll put it aside here. And now I say the first thing I want to do once the app is started, I want to click on something. So I click on something. He's asking me, can you identify what you want? I say, okay, I will identify the object. I go with the mouse hover and I say, I think it's F2, yeah, it's F2. And now I can say, you have captured it. It's the task, create task button. And you have identified it correctly. So let me write create new task. Say, okay. Now this has been added here. The next thing, because now I'm here, right? So this is open. What do I need to do? I need to enter the title. So I need to set text to app element. Again, identify the element, which is title. I go with the mouse on the title, hover it, don't click anything, just press F2. It will identify the object. And now I can say stop capturing, set the title. And here he is asking for an input text. So either I could provide a fixed value or something which I have extracted from the array. You can see here, this is the title. Read from array as a string is the thing what I want to provide. This is done. The next thing would be entering the description. Again, here I would set text to application, identify the object, F2 by hovering to the description field, stop capturing, enter description, and select the input variable for description, open the description variable, and take the string, which is outputted there. And after that, I press on create task, which will then bring me in the task creation. So I say, that's okay. Hover the create task button, say F2, and say save task. And that's it. Stop capturing, say okay. And now I'm done basically. And the last step, of course, is something. Let me exit the quick creation mode. Now I've built so far the script. We have something in the loop, we have the app session. And as a last step, after the loop, I want to close the application, because this is also something which need to be closed. So I can say, I want to check upon a process which is running. I find check process template, drag and drop it here, and I can say, this is close task app. Now he's asking me for the process name. I know that this application is running under main. So I will look for main.exe here. If process exists, do nothing or kill it. I will kill the process and the app will be closed. And now something cool happened. The thing what I've built here in the activity looks pretty much the same which I had in the presentation. Of course, it's on a high level, but this is something which I also recommend, understand the manual work which is involved in the automation before going into the automation. Then it's much easier to represent it. And now let's see if this is possible to run. So let me close the task app. I will just hit the run button. And hopefully, if everything is fine, he will enter these six tasks into the task app. And this is how simple you can automate any UI application wherever you want to automate it. And again, after the automation has been executed, you will find here a detailed log which will tell you that everything what you have done has been executed successfully. So this was a quick excursus in building your first automated process by having a manual task upfront. So back to you for now, Fatima, if there are any questions.
Yes, there is a question from Priya. How many types of subscriptions are there in RP automation?
Can you explain this if, maybe further? What do you mean by subscription?
While Priya responds, can we take a different question?
Yes,
Oh, Priya has responded. License.
a license subscription. What types? So there is only for MuleSoft Automation. We have learned that MuleSoft Automation includes MuleSoft RPA, MuleSoft Composer, and a limited edition of AnyPoint. So within the base package, you have a number of amount of bot minutes, composer tasks, and capacity for any point. I will not put any numbers here, but this is coming with the base package. And of course, you can always add on additional bot minutes, composer task, as well as capacity on any point. Does it answer your question, Priya?
Yes. There is one more question from Priya. In which time my bot will not respond properly or get down?
In which time the bot will not respond properly or get down. So you mean the timeout when something is not recognized. I think the timeout is default, but this can be changed based on activities. Um, I think the default is around about 20, 30 seconds, not sure. But there is a defined timeout you can change per activity.
Okay. There is a question from Sudhir. Could you please share the RPA file and sample task file?
Yes, I will export it. And this is also something maybe quickly I can show it to you. First of all, Sudhir, I'm pretty sure you want to install the task app, right? Because this is also something you need. The text file and the bot or the automated process file will help you to a certain step, but the task app you also need to have. And I will put the installation binary link as well and send it to Fatima and John with the um, CRPA file, which you can export basically from here. Export, and let me do it now so we have it and I can send it later on. So it is the task automation Calicut meetup, and I will send it along with the larger task file, yeah, so you can test it out. All right.
Yeah. There is one more question from Ravi. Can we invoke a RESTful API from RPA Builder?
Yes, you can. There is a RESTful template available, which you can consume to call REST APIs. So if you type in REST here, you have a REST call, which you can drag and drop and consume either any point service or also an external service.
Um, a question from Ritesh. How board time would be measured or estimated during taking RPA package subscription?
So basically, we would, in order to find the number of minutes, bot minutes you would require, we have to analyze what need to be automated, of course. And there is a rough formula we are using. So we have a calculation sheet which we will be using to help understand how complex and how much bot minute would be there. And the utilization of the bot is based upon, if I think it's based upon seconds. So you will be getting um, compensated by seconds. Hope that answers your question, Ravi.
Ritesh.
Ritesh, sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So, no. Any additional questions?
No more questions.
Okay, so shall we then continue?
Yes, Amir.
Okay, so now let's talk about use cases, because this is also something, again, capabilities, RPA, UI automation, Composer, headless connectivity, as well as Anypoint with API connectivity. Um, what are the use cases? And I tend to say, look around you. We have seen the Salesforce Service Cloud customer agent use case, right? Where customer experience has been improved, but also the customer service agent productivity and efficiency has been improved. And everyone who has seen one of my recent posts in LinkedIn have seen I have been talking about something called the first use case here. I have chatbots plus RPA. So very soon and throughout the years, there will always be events where, especially now, customer cases in the retail area will be affected. Yeah. So Black Friday, we all are aware of it. Online business is really made for it. You can, as a company, retail company, you can really benefit from offerings you provide on your online portal. But on the other hand, there might also be increase in the number of cases. So now, mapping it to NTO and Michael, you will see that Michael has a defined capacity. Now we have automated something, but now a higher number of increase cases is coming in, and during Black Friday, even they want to provide the best experience, it is not for the team to be able to scale it. And here you can really put in together now Einstein bots or any chatbot you may have. Basically, the chatbot will take over the first interaction with the customer. So it's Michael is still working on Black Friday and Cyber Monday, but he is not the first touch. So customers can come directly to the chatbot. The chatbot will start the conversation and ask, okay, I can provide you with assistant. Is this something you want to use, or you want to directly talk to a agent? Then Michael, of course, is still there and his team is there. They can help Rachel with it. But if Rachel say, okay, I want to talk with the agent, but it will take 20 minutes and I don't have the time, let me see how you can help me. So he will provide a menu where Rachel is able to say, okay, I want to update my order. What you want to update the shipping date. And then the bot will again continue the conversation. So we'll ask for additional support if something additional is needed, while in the same way, the flow which we have defined in the Salesforce Service Cloud will be triggered. So, it's just reusing what you have already built to improve the customer interaction on peak times. So the bot will be called the RPA bot, which will update the order management system. And this is monitored and used as a trigger for Composer to update NetSuite. And once NetSuite update is done, Rachel will receive an email confirmation email, and a case will be logged and closed just for documentation purposes. Additionally, the bot can ask her, because she is still on the chat and this is happening in parallel. So if she need additional support, she can decide to end the conversation here, or she can talk to an agent, where again she can then be connected to Michael. But this is a example. We will be demo casing, I think it's on the 11th November. There's a Black Friday meetup in the MuleSoft community where we'll be showcasing exactly this use case, where Rachel will not start the conversation with Michael, but with the chatbot, and the chatbot will then do the trigger of the MuleSoft RPA bot and Composer, and we will go also how the chatbot, the Einstein bot, has been configured to do this. Yeah? So this is something where you can watch out and look in the meetup page and register for this event. I think it's a 1 hour event where we will be just focusing on this use case. Additionally, there are other use cases as well. For instance, for the healthcare and life sciences, we have in Switzerland and Germany the patient's admission. Whenever a patients get to the hospital, how does it work? You have Julie. Julie is working as an assistant and trainee for a company called Open Hospital. So whenever new admissions are sent via email, she has to understand the attachment PDF files and Excel and enter manually the admission in the Open Hospital system, which is a defined application made for hospitals. And this is where she is doing manual tasks, right? And this can be improved for sure, but the process looks like doctors are sending individual patient, so I can be admitted by my doctor. This has been communicated to the Zurich hospital, so they will send out an email. My information is sent to them, and they will register me as a patient. And same can be also if you don't have the capacity in hospitals, you will send out multiple admissions to other hospital where again these information need to be entered manually in the system. And this is something which is taking a lot of time. Yeah? So not the reading the email, but reading and interpreting the Excel files with the patient's information as well as the PDF. It's of course, Julie is a human. She can do mistakes, and this is really error prone, time consuming process, not always reliable and accurate, which will then can cause issues, especially in the healthcare area, which we don't want. And this can be automated, of course, which is then more faster, resilient, repeatable, and accurate, where the bot will do basically the same thing, just listening and waiting for an email to come in, and then the bot will read the email, process PDF, and log the patient admission into the open hospital application. Third use case is the inventory process, where Martin is now involved. He is working in SAP, so here he has to always on certain situations and times he has to check the stock overview and get the approval for ordering additional material, purchase order, release the order, and then send the order information. So there are different manual labor involved, which are time consuming, and also sometimes he orders the wrong material. So this is something where a bot is also super helpful, or automation at all is super helpful, because he is currently utilized 2 hours daily to check what need to be ordered for that day. And with the automation, it can be improved and can be fully automated. It's also something, you are now fully automating a process, so Martin can focus on his core task instead of this repetitive and tedious work, which by the bot is more faster, resilient, accurate, and repeatable. And the bot can do all these repeatable actions in a defined pattern. So that was it from the use case point of view. Fatima, are there any questions for the use cases itself?
Nothing so far.
Okay, so what's next for the community? I really hope I could convey my message why MuleSoft Automation is there, why it is different, and what are the advantages and the capabilities we are providing. And I want everyone in the call to be excited about it and learn more in the same manner you are excited about the Anypoint platform. We are providing a lot of resources for Composer with the Trailblazer community. You have trailheads, trail mixes on Salesforce side, as well as additional help and trainings on Composer, dedicated support. And same goes for MuleSoft RPA. You have Trailblazer community, the trail mixes, training courses, and the support. So please utilize these resources to skill up. Your automation is something which will be becoming more important, and going together hand in hand with integration and APIs, you can achieve and upskill yourself here for a dedicated and advanced topic.
A question from Ritesh. To explore MuleSoft RPA package and doing some hands-on, is there any free or community edition available?
So basically, this is something where we are working on. Yeah, so it's a very new product. We have put it into the MuleSoft portfolio, into our platform, cloudified it, and now we are working exactly on those topics to provide access to the community in the same manner we have for Anypoint. So there will be updates coming up. Currently, these are the resources which are available. And of course, you have your meetup contacts and MuleSoft contacts who can also provide here additional information. But currently, there is not a trial process established, but this is something that we are working on. Any additional questions?
Nothing more.
Okay, then I would like to open up for the quiz. And let's see if we can start it. We have some Yeah, let's see if the quiz can be started. So everyone, please go to, sorry, my mistake.
Kahoot.it. I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, so it's kahoot.it. Do it from your mobile or from your desktop browser. And then you will be on a page which is asking for a pin. And the pin probably will be classic mode, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a classic one.
loading the pin. So once you are on www.kahoot.it, enter this pin or scan the QR code if you want to directly come in. And now we will be going through the questions and see what we have. So, Suresh, Senu, Suchitra, Mayuresh, SS, Ritesh, Nitin, Faisal, Ravi. So attendees are coming in. And Fatima, you will compare if the number and if still someone is missing.
Yeah. We have 24 attendees.
So we have 17. I think we can give more 30 seconds.
Yeah. Five more people remaining.
Okay. 15 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We start now, okay?
Okay.
So let's do the community quiz. What is the first question? What are the goals of automation? I think we have talked about it. It's reducing cost, increasing productivity, increasing efficiency, or all of the above. Okay, it's all of the above. So all of these answers are correct. 16 were right. Let's go to the next one. So Priya, you are leading. Nitin and Suresh, you are following up. So let's see who makes the poll. So second question, what does RPA stands for? Robotic professional automation, retail patch automation, robotic process automation, or the recording player application. Here's the countdown. I was looking for is there a countdown as well? Yeah. So it's robotic process automation. 15 were correct. So now let's see the leaders board. Priya, you are rocking here. Nitin and Suresh are still in the follow-up. So let's go to the next one. What is the long-term vision of MuleSoft with the addition of RPA? Transform every customer from API-led to RPA-led integration, provide a separate offering only dedicated to the RPA market, enable end-to-end automation, or enable business to use RPA to talk to APIs. Yes, enable end-to-end automation. So let's see what's going on the leaders board. Zainu, you have token Zainu. Is it
Yeah.
correct? Yes, so she has now taken over the lead. Priya is second, and Bidan has entered the top three. How many questions to go? Two more. So, what is part of the MuleSoft automation offering? It's MuleSoft RPA, MuleSoft Composer, Limited Anypoint Edition, or all of the above. I think this should be clear. It's all of the above. Exactly. So let's go to the next question, the last one. Priya, you are back. Senu, you are second, and Bidan is third. So let's see who made it. Which MuleSoft solutions are part of Salesforce Flow portfolio? We have talked about it. MuleSoft RPA only, MuleSoft Composer for Salesforce only, MuleSoft RPA and Anypoint platform, or MuleSoft RPA and MuleSoft Composer. There was a dedicated slide for it. Maybe you remember it. It was these solutions were on the second half of the slide. Yes, it is MuleSoft RPA and MuleSoft Composer. So let's see who made it on the podium. So third place is Bidan. Congratulations. Second is Seino. Congratulations. And first one is, who is it?
Priya.
Bravo, Priya. Congratulations.
Congratulations, guys. I think Ritesh and Mayuresh were facing issues. Guys, the options are on the screen, and you have to choose the colored box. That's how you choose it. Yeah. Priya Zainun Bidan, please share your email ID in the chat.
And I will send you some screenshot from the results so you have it as well, Fatima.
Yeah. And thank you, Amir.
Okay, so I will stop sharing. So, are there any questions, additional questions we may answer?
No more questions.
So, I think we are good to close up. So, thanks everyone for taking the time. I know it's very late in your region, so thank you for taking the time and learning more about MuleSoft automation. Thank you, Fatima and John, that I had the possibility to